What have you got there? What's this? More from Volkswagen? What, more hype and gloss and excitement about a car that's never going to be made? What, they've actually started making them? So the ID3, this could be interesting. Get yourself a coffee, make yourself comfortable. Let's have a chat about the new Volkswagen ID3. This video is sponsored by Just EVs, a family-run company with the largest selection of battery electric vehicles available with free UK delivery. They now also offer EV rentals. Have a look at justevs.co.uk and don't forget to mention EV Opinion for a free annual service. Forgive my disbelief, but let's be honest, was it back in 2016 Volkswagen started talking about their ID range? And, well, to be frank, other than a lot of nice magazine shots and some videos, and they wheel them out, there's the Buzz, the ID3, the 4, whatever else they wheel out. Every single motor show, it feels like, we've not seen a lot else, have we? There's not been much substance behind all the bluff and excitement that goes on behind it. And I think, to be fair, we've all got a little bit fed up of it. But that's not to say that they haven't been working furiously behind the scenes. Clearly they have, because, well, they've announced the launch of the ID3 now. Now, this car is something that's similar to a Golf. Clearly it isn't a Golf. They're going to continue making the Golf. It's not going to be called a Golf, but it's very similar in size and fits nicely into that segment of the market. And clearly Volkswagen see this as a really, really important car to their range, something that they themselves have said has to match something like the Beetle or the Mark I Golf. With hindsight, those vehicles changed the way that we looked at, owned and drove our cars. So they really are seeing this electric revolution as being just that. It's not an evolution, it is a pure revolution and something new that we should all get excited about. So let's have a look at the range that they're talking about, and then we'll come on to the first edition, which is the one that they've actually launched. But just to give you a general feeling of all the cars across the range and what you can expect to see over the next few years. So prices are going to start at around about €30,000. That's just over £26,500 here in the UK. The first edition is likely to be close to €40,000. Now, there's going to be 3 battery sizes once everything's up and running. We're going to have a 48 kilowatt hour, a 58 kilowatt hour and a 77 kilowatt hour. And they're going to do anything real world, I would suggest, between 200 and 340, 350 miles, depending where you are, how you drive it and everything else. We're looking at, in the base model, a 148 horsepower motor up to 201 in the top level one with the 77 kilowatt hour battery. They are all rear wheel drive, which is really interesting. No front wheel drive, hot hatch here, rear wheel drive. And that means that everything can be kept compact in the back. And not only does it make, I believe, a better driving experience, but it also means that there's more room everywhere else in the cabin because you're not having to try and connect components and take the space up in the cabin. For example, a transmission tunnel. Who wants that in an electric car anymore? There's no need for it, and they've designed this on the MEB platform. So this is electric car designed from the ground up. There is no compromise on this vehicle. And to show you how it fits very nicely into that segment of the market, let's look at the sizes. So you're looking at length of 4.3 metres, width of 1.8 metres and a height of 1.5 metres. That, in comparison to the Golf, is 3 millimetres longer, 19 millimetres wider, 17 millimetres higher, and it actually weighs 200 kilograms more. That has to be because of the battery and the bits and pieces that go into it. But because of that really low centre of gravity, because it's rear wheel driven and because of the way that it's made up, actually the turning circle is tighter than a Volkswagen Polo. So that gives you an idea of just how the dynamics of the vehicle can change because it's had an engine taken out the front of it. Charging in public, well, that's going to vary between models, but the mid and high range ones will charge at 110 kilowatts. Home charging, well, you'll be able to buy a charger from them and it will allow you to charge 11 kilowatts at home, which is great. You compare that to something like Leaf, which only charges at 6.6 kilowatts at its maximum. So that's really, really good home charging speeds. And add to that Volkswagen themselves intend to roll out 36,000 charge points across Europe by 2025. So they are really investing in not only the vehicles but also the infrastructure, and they've got some links with Ionity that allows you to charge on their chargers as well. So really looking beyond just building the cars, looking to support that infrastructure and try and make things better for all of us going forward. So let's have a look around the outside of the vehicle to begin with, before we start honing it down to the specifics of the first edition. And let's look at how this compares to the concept car, because I think actually once you strip away all that camouflage, we're now seeing a car that is very, very similar to the concept car, which is unusual because as we've seen a lot of the times, they change completely. They have to because of safety features and lots of other bits and pieces that go on, whether it's cost or whatever it happens to be. But this is very, very close. I think the biggest difference for me is that the bonnet isn't as short as it was on the concept vehicle. That's a safety thing. When we look at crumple zones and bits and pieces, that has to be slightly longer and it has to be built out. But they've thought about that in the design, and what you'll see is there's sort of a panel that you might not notice it's there initially, but what it actually does is it fools your eye into thinking that the bonnet is shorter than it actually is. So that's just to try and keep it looking as close to that concept vehicle as possible. You'll also notice it's got 19-inch alloy wheels on it. There is a LED strip that you can have across the front. It depends what model you buy, but that gives you those LED lights right across the front of the car. And the headlights themselves, although they're LED, they're matrix. So you can leave them on high beam and the car should be able to recognise when other vehicles are coming towards it at night, and it will turn off certain LEDs. So it won't necessarily turn the whole high beam down, but it'll turn off the ones that affect the car that's oncoming to you. And if we then move inside the car, what we'll see is that simplistic look again that we're seeing in a lot of vehicles at the moment. You'll see there's a 10-inch screen in the middle and there's a smaller screen right in front of the steering wheel. You'll also notice that there's very, very few buttons in there. There's one button for your hazard lights and there's buttons for your electric windows. But other than that, there are no other buttons, physical, you can press and click buttons in that car anywhere. So they are really trying to simplify everything and make everything as compact as possible. And I guess this is where we're heading, isn't it? This is what the future is. Everything's done by voice control. We're seeing now voice assistants that actually work and cars that are adopting them, and it actually works, not like the old days where they didn't understand a word you were saying. You'll notice that the gears, so that to enable you to engage drive or reverse, it's a twist column to the right of the steering wheel. Well, that's very, very similar, if not identical, to the BMW i3. Something that's really interesting, I find, again, because this is an electric vehicle and because it's been built from the ground up, although the general dimensions, as we mentioned, are similar to that small to mid-sized family car, actually the legroom in the back of that car is the same as the legroom you get in the back of a Volkswagen Passat. So you have got a decent amount of legroom and the floor is flat, so you have actually got 3 seats in the back. Other things that you can get in there, well, you get heated front seats and steering wheel, adaptive cruise control, things that we've kind of come to expect in these reasonably priced electric vehicles now. Sat nav, there's USB chargers, you got your infotainment system, which of course links up with your mobile phone via an app, and there's certain additional options like a head-up display with augmented reality, ambient lighting that can change colour depending on your mood, how you want to set it up, or if you just want it to change with the heat settings, tell it what you want. And if you really want to push the boat out, you can go right the way and have a panoramic roof, a Beats sound system, which has got 8 speakers and a sub in it. So really is everything from the basic package all the way up through. You can really tailor this car to how you want it to be. But that's a general view around the car. And my general feeling is, well, what have you got to lose with this car? This is built by a company who clearly know how to build cars. It's built by a company who know how to give their customers exactly what they want, and they haven't rushed into the market. Now, I joked at the start and said that we've been ages waiting for this to come, but clearly they've done their research. Clearly they know what we as consumers want, and they've got the infrastructure in place, and they're building their factories or converting some of their factories to enable them to build these. And they are talking about tens, if not hundreds of thousands of electric cars over the coming years, all on this MEB platform. And this MEB platform, don't forget, is also being used by Ford. So we're going to see so many cars from these two huge motor manufacturers over the next few years that I think this platform and the way that Volkswagen have set themselves up, well, I think they've secured their future, but I think they've also secured the future of other companies such as Ford going forward. Let's have a look at the first edition model then. And for this, what I wanted to do was, I just thought I'd tell you directly from their website, their launch, what they're telling you will be in it. So bear in mind all the bits and pieces we talked about already, but they're saying the basic version of the ID3 First includes a navigation system, DAB digital radio, seat heating and steering wheel heating, and 18-inch alloy wheels. There's then the Plus. This is the middle model of the first edition. It has exactly what was in the basic, plus it's got a rear view camera system, adaptive cruise control, it's got keyless entry, it's got 2 USB plugs in the center there, it's got this ambient lighting we spoke about, and it's also got some tinted windows, a bit of a style pack they're calling it. But this is where our matrix LED lights start coming into play, which I think is a really nice option. And it's got upgraded to the 19-inch alloy wheels. And then the top of the range ID3 First, so this isn't necessarily going to be the top of the range once all the model is out, but the first edition one also includes your augmented reality head-up display. It's got that Beats sound system, it's got the panoramic sliding and tilt glass roof, 20-inch alloy wheels, and it's got the lane keep assist with the emergency stop assist, and it says a lane change system, so I'm presuming that's probably something similar to the Tesla, where you put the indicator on, it's able to move across lanes. Now those first editions, they went on sale some time ago. All 30,000 have now been sold, and they've started building them. The frustrating thing here is, although they've started building them, they're not actually going to be sold until summer of next year, 2020. And from what I can make out, Volkswagen are saying that's because they want to build a stockpile. They want to build up their stockpile of these ID3s so that once they launch them, they're not going to be having a backlog of people having to wait months and months and months. They would rather do that up front, build up their lots full of these cars, and then when people go and buy them, they're available to be bought. Make of that what you will. You may agree or disagree with that, but it's what they've decided to do. What do you reckon? Does this sound good to you? Is this going to be the new Volkswagen Beetle that they expect it to be, to revolutionise everything? Or have they come a little bit late to the party and have they been left behind? What do you think? Let me know. But that is it for today. So thank you ever so much for watching. If you have enjoyed it, remember to like and share. If you're not doing so already, subscribe to the channel. And if you want to support the channel, have a little look at the Patreon link or any of the other links below, which will give you some guidance on how to do that. Of course, you can get one of these mugs if you want to sign up through Patreon, but I forgot to fill it up today, hence I'm in this little one. But that's it. Thanks ever so much for watching. You take care. I'll see you again soon. All the best.